Hi, and welcome to the Superhero Hierarchy. I'm Nathan.
Hi, I'm Chris.
And today we are reviewing Black Widow. We're going to rank it on 5 categories. Each category is going to be from 1 to 20 for a total possible 100 points. The first category is hero, or heroes in this case. What'd you think, Chris?
For hero, I liked her story, and I liked seeing Natasha in her prime. This was in her Avengers prime. I thought she did good as a hero, and it showed her compassion, as well as her like cool fighting style. I thought she had a great chance to display that.
I didn't get that. I think she's a supporting character to Yelena. Yelena is the main character in this story.
You know, I don't think she's the main character in the story. I think Natasha is, but Yelena just has that presence. In all honesty, she has the it factor. I'm very excited to see her as the future Widow. So it's, I guess, who knew going into it and making this that Yelena would just kind of, I don't want to say outshine, but she does. She's fun to watch. She has great quips. She's incredibly badass.
Was Scarlett Johansson kind of phoning it in? Was she tired at this point? It just seems like she's
no.
Oh,
I don't think she
a little
phoned
run
it in.
down.
Maybe, but also think of it. This is in between Civil War and Infinity War. Civil War probably took a great toll, but I say the prime because she still has her great fighting prowess. I just thought it showed her compassion because if you notice, everyone that she was fighting, she didn't really want to harm. She wasn't really trying to harm her sister when they were fighting in the Budapest safe house.
Oh, that fight was the most ridiculous fight. Why were they fighting? They just are fighting for no reason. They're just like, it's been 2 minutes since there's been a fight, so let's have another fight. But that fight had zero stakes because you're like, well, you know they're both good and they're just going to be fine.
Look how much time had passed since they saw each other as what, children?
Yeah, but they
didn't know who to trust. I mean, I guess you didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, so but why did they even stop fighting? They're like, oh, we're going to choke each other out. Nah, it's fine.
Yeah, they stopped somehow. I mean, I guess it's just, well, you know what? Cap and Bucky do this every time you turn around. So I don't think we can complain that much.
Yeah, but Bucky has an excuse because he's mind control. This was just like, we just need to fight. Real quick, what were your thoughts on Red Guardian and then Melania? Or Melania or whatever.
Melania. I thought they were great supporting cast. I loved the Red Guardian. I liked the father figure that he was. As flawed as he was, he tried. He even said it himself that he's a simple man, but he tried the best that he could. He was given a mission. This was, if you think of it, this was like a spy drama set in the mid-90s, like Cold War style. They weren't really a family and just thrown all together as a family unit.
I don't know.
Whoa, what was your issue then with him? He was the highlight.
He didn't do anything. All he is an idiot. He's comic relief, which is fine. It's fine. He's not a hero, but he's just a buffoon imbecile.
Well, he's not an intelligent like a Captain America.
But he's a clown. He's a clown the whole time.
He is, but he does have he even said it himself again. He was just the muscle.
But he's not even good at that. He gets his butt kicked. All right, and what about the mother?
The mother, I thought she played a good. It was funny how she showed she cared, yet then she was
even
very
a hero because she kind of set up the whole mind control thing. Like she's kind of the villain.
Well, she is, but she said that in the movie that she was born in captivity essentially and didn't know what else to do.
It's not her fault that she mind controlled thousands of women. All right, that brings us to
oh my god, hey, that's a bad interlude. Come on, man.
I don't know what to tell you. Well, I don't know what to tell you. What'd you give heroes on this one?
17.
17? No, I gave it a 12. I gave it a 12.
12?
12. It wasn't good.
Yelena alone would be 17. I thought as the family unit and their heroics to stop the Red Room, I give it a 17.
Let's get to the villains here.
All right. Well, I didn't go to this. I didn't see this movie for the villains.
Yeah, because they stunk. There are no villains in this movie. Literally none. There's one guy, General. He's in the movie for 15 minutes. All he does is like stereotypical boring villain monologue. He's like, I'm evil and I mind control women. And then he dies in a plane.
Well, he deservedly died.
I'm not arguing that he didn't deserve to die. I'm arguing that he had no character no, I don't even know. I can't even comment on what his plan was because there was no plan. It was just him being there.
True, but I get it. Well, aside from, kidnapping women and then mind controlling them, I mean, his whole point was to, I guess.
But why was he doing that? Just to be bad? He's like, I'm going to get women and mind control them.
I'm assuming just for whatever reason anybody else wants to be a villain. Nathan, money. I mean, what do you do? You just hire out assassins.
He's already in a flying fortress. I don't know.
Think at that point he probably has billions, but
you'd think he would have planned it out.
Yeah, but do you think Jeff Bezos wouldn't stop right there either?
I don't know.
I mean, now, all right, we're gonna put this online, and he's now gonna come after me.
Yeah. He's gonna send
me a package.
He's gonna send you Taskmaster, which brings us to the second villain. Okay, Taskmaster.
That was a sad.
It was a huge mistake.
Well, it fit in with the theme of the movie. The theme of the movie was mind control and not having free will. So, in that, I see why they made the villain that way. I know a lot of people complain about it in that they should have just taken Taskmaster as is from the comics and just insert him there as a villain.
I don't even have a problem with Taskmaster being Dreykov's daughter and mind controlled. Give her some personality. Give her something.
Well, there's no depth. Well,
there's nothing. She doesn't say a line. She just shows up, fights 2 times. She fights on the bridge. And then she shows up in a tank for some reason, driving around Budapest. And then other than that, what does she do? She doesn't show up again until the very end when it's like, surprise, this person you've hardly seen is another person that you don't know, which isn't a surprise. It's just nothing.
Well, if you notice, they only sent her out once, the Taskmaster. And then she happens to obviously be at the home base when they attack the headquarters. I thought she showed up exactly how many times that she should and where she should.
Because she didn't have any lines. She wasn't a menacing villain. She just was. And I don't even get the deal with her. Did she have super strength or something? Because she's kicking Natasha off the bridge and throwing Red Guardian around like he's a rag doll. But then she's apparently a 115-pound girl. I don't understand.
In her super suit? I don't know. But
was she in a super suit? It had claws for some reason.
Well, for Black Panther, that's what
I understand. I understand she's emulating Black Panther, but like, why?
For what reason? No, I understand. Well, to throw in the Taskmaster character. That I get, but
it's a waste of a character. It's a total waste of a character. All right, villains. What'd you give them?
I gave the villains an 11.
An 11. I'm going to give them a 4. I don't think they could be worse.
But you can't have a super threat, or else the Avengers would be called in. I mean, it was a good,
but you could have done Taskmaster so much stronger. I mean, look at Winter Soldier. Bucky doesn't talk. He's menacing and scary and all the stuff that Taskmaster is not. And they have they're basically the exact same character.
Well,
they're mind-controlled zombie villains. And yet Bucky is menacing and Taskmaster's kind of ridiculous. When she's chasing Yelena and Black Widow, I'm like, why don't they just turn around and kick her butt? Yeah, right after the tank subway. When they go into the subway station.
Well, because they just had a car accident, man.
Yeah, but
they're just in a car accident.
So what? They're superheroes. She's in a car accident the very first time. The very first time she fights on the bridge, her car gets blown up. She turns around and fights, and it's a pretty close fight. You're telling me Yelena and Black Widow couldn't have beaten her? She's not Yelena's menacing because you're like, she can just wipe her out. I don't know. I didn't like it. All right. That leads us to the plot. I will give the 15-second plot summary. Black Widow's on the run. She finds out that the Red Room's still around and then decides to take it out with relative ease. That's the plot. What'd you think of it?
I like the plot. I like that you couldn't, for Black Widow, at the end, you can't give her an origin story. It's a Black Widow movie. And I liked how it was kind of in the throes of her being an Avenger. And this was almost like a side mission on her part. And she has to be away from the Avengers. I liked how that they inputted it in between Civil War and Infinity War. The story itself, I like the emotional. It was touching. It was a touching family story. And it was the family that she never really had, but then realized that she did have a family. And then only because it was set up as a job.
Well, again, I think this goes back to Yelena being the main character because this is more about her finding out that she has a family, and like, you know, this is the only family she knew, because other than that, she's been a mind controlled assassin. So
well, that's a sad
I
part,
think it works better for Yelena. I think Black Widow has a family with the Avengers. They talk about it a whole bunch.
Yeah, but even as a kid, you saw her grabbing the photo album or whatever it was. She has. So I liked how Natasha has sentimentality. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the plot. I mean, I like the family aspect. I'll agree with that. I think the spy drama where it wants to be the Bourne Identity.
I thought it was better than Bourne Identity.
No, oh my gosh, no.
You can't just wake up and then you start fighting. You punch Matt Damon in the face.
No. I think the Bourne Identity had a lot going for it. And there's actual mystery and twists and turns.
No way.
And it has Clive Owen just randomly show up as an assassin. It's great.
All right. Well, that was kind of cool. Okay.
Yeah, that
was kind of cool. But I like, the heart of Natasha's story is redemption. She's always mentioned this.
They tried to have twists and turns in this plot, and they didn't.
Twists and turns. I liked how they were trying to break out Red Guardian, but then he's like, well, I don't know.
Oh, the prison break scene was awful. The whole prison break was preposterous. I didn't care for it one bit, but you know, whatever. It's just more of Red Guardian.
I thought it was it was a good action sequence. I liked it.
It's not terrible.
I like the bits of humor in it. I enjoyed it. I thought for what it was good. I mean, you wouldn't find that maybe necessarily in like a Captain America movie, maybe in like the newer ones now. But I mean, it's just, I liked it.
Okay. What'd you give the plot?
15.
Wow. You're generous to this movie. I will give it a 10. It could have been worse. I like the family stuff, but there is no villain. There's not really any mystery.
No, but I don't think that was the point of all this, you know? I don't really...
But it's that much of a spy movie. Shouldn't there be mystery to it? All right. Sound and visuals.
I mean,
First of all, the cover of Smells Like Teen Spirit was horrible.
What? And dude, I love that. How did you not like that?
Forever, because it was bad. That's why I
even
didn't
like that
it.
rendition. No,
you liked it.
I liked the rendition.
What other about the sound? What other parts did you like?
The song "American Pie." I liked how they kind of incorporated that.
You know what? That was a good use of American Pie, and they kind of wove it into the plot where Red Guardian sings it to Yelena.
Well, it showed that part I liked because it showed that he cared. In his little own way, it showed that he actually cared. Even though he couldn't express it.
Do you feel like he changed characters? Like in the first, I feel like they must have reshot that first scene, because the escape scene, he's like really on point and like doing a good job and like brave and daring. And then he's not a clown. And then in the rest of the movie, he's just a total imbecile.
But look where he was. I mean, he probably has like...
I know,
but he lost all hope in like... imagine not having a purpose. It does.
That shouldn't make you stupid. Well, he's dumb. He's dumb. I don't know. Anyway, back to sound and visual. I got sidetracked. The visuals are cool. I like what's going on. They do a good job shooting it. I mean, visually, cinematically, it was quality stuff, especially like the crash at the end.
I love that scene when the Red Room was falling. I actually liked how the Red Room was even in the midair. You think of it to be like some underbelly type of organization when it was literally high in the sky. But I love the skydiving scene, and that sequence was great.
So yeah, I thought it was pretty good. What'd you give sound and visuals?
15.
I give it a 13. Okay, fun factor. I'm gonna guess, going on a limb, that you had a lot of fun with this movie.
I think you're absolutely right. I did. I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed watching this movie. I thought the story was just interesting and entertaining enough where I really liked it. I liked it.
I liked it. But as I was watching it, I kept thinking, she doesn't have superpowers. Like, what's happening here? Because like she's getting blown up and she's fine. I just kept struggling. I kept getting taken out of the movie. And like thinking about what's going on.
But you're watching a Marvel movie. You just got to sometimes, you have to turn off that part of your brain, man.
I know. I had a hard time with it this time. I don't know if it's because I wasn't in theaters, but like...
You weren't seeing the guy in a metal suit fly around?
Yeah, I find that more believable.
All right. I mean, fair. I mean, I believe it too. So
At least there's
I
an explanation why. Like, I enjoyed it all the way up until the point where she gets blown up by Taskmaster at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then you're like, she should be dead. Taskmaster must have the super soldier serum. Because, like, she's kicking people all over the place and, like, no problems there. But then, and she fights Red Guardian, but then they, like, don't mention it.
I let that stuff slide. I didn't read too much into it. I agree with what you're saying is, does Taskmaster have superpowers or not? Because she was throwing a super soldier around like nothing. Like, I mean, during that fight sequence, if Melania didn't jump in, like Taskmaster was about to kill Red Guardian.
What is with the morals in these movies? Like, they give Melania like a total pass on doing all this mind control stuff. She doesn't even say sorry. She mind controls her basically adoptive daughter.
Well, she didn't know
How did she not know? First, she almost kills a pig for no reason. I'm watching it. I'm like, that's sick.
She did.
Even though she didn't kill the pig, that's like torture. Imagine if you choked a dog out till it almost died.
Yeah. And then with the only rationale being like you still had 11 more seconds. I mean,
before it died.
Yeah, that's pretty close. I mean, if you only have 11 more seconds.
Really bad person.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a really bad person. Oh, the whole pheromone thing? What are they talking about? He put a pheromone in their brain so they can't kill him? Like,
with that smell, that was a little bit ridiculous.
That is the biggest preposterous plot device I've ever heard. I mean, at least they had a reason. But then, like, this is the worst case of villain monologuing I think I've ever seen. He's like, I'm just going to monologue to you forever.
Well, he did. I don't know what the point was.
It's just for 15 minutes. All he does, his whole screen time, he just monologues.
Well,
he's just like, oh, I'm going to tell you everything I know. And then I'm going to leave.
Yeah. Well,
that's literally what happens. He's like, all right, this is everything I've got. Now I'm going to leave.
Well, before he left, he sent away Taskmaster too. So I don't know what his end game was, to have all the other Black Widows kill Natasha.
Once you have 100 Black Widows fighting, it's just a bunch of people fighting. They didn't seem expert. They didn't seem incredible. They didn't seem threatening in any way. They were just like a bunch of people.
Black Widow was able to, use her wrist stingers and like just kind of fight a bunch of people without trying to really want to hurt them because she wasn't trying to.
I think it diminished Black Widow because you have all these other widows around. I don't know. I don't like it.
So too, but you didn't understand. I figured that going in that she's gonna have to fight a bunch of widows because I mean the whole point of the Red Room is that you just produce all these assassins.
I thought she was gonna fight Taskmaster, which she doesn't.
I thought so too, but she doesn't really. Even at the end when they're on the ground, she's fighting, but not to hurt.
She just takes off her helmet and then gives her the magic red. I think MacGuffin.
The whole point, I know the MacGuffin, but the whole point of the movie is redemption, and I think that they just didn't want Black Widow just pounding someone for the sake of trying to defeat the villain.
If they had made the villain actually a threat, if they had made Taskmaster and General Clownface the same person, then you suddenly have a menacing villain. And then, you know what? I would have loved to see her pound that person into the ground.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I wanted her to beat the old guy. Yeah.
But if he had been the Taskmaster because he gave himself the super soldier serum or something, like, that would have been so much better instead of what we got, which was just like awful. What'd you give fun factor?
17. I had a blast with this movie. I really enjoyed it. It was a nice highlight for Black Widow, and I didn't
hate it. I'm gonna give it a 10. So that does it for Superhero Hierarchy. I've been Nathan.
I've been Chris.